Hey, how's it going, everybody? So, earlier this year, I purchased this belt sander, or belt grinder, whichever you want to call it. It's a 4-inch wide belt, 48 inches long, from Multi-Tool. I actually bought it through Jegs. And the first one I got had some issues, and they sent me a new motor. And the company's great as far as customer support, but this belt grinder is kind of cheesy. Now the 2-inch wide ones aren't affected by this problem, but this one has some flex issues, and I'm going to go over it here in this video. All right, so this is the Multi-Tool 4x48 belt grinder, and this is a base I had laying around from something else. Doesn't quite fit right on there, but it works. If I ever get my CNC machine from Wright, I might be able to make a new base for that. Got the Colorado in the shop here today. It was getting a new windshield from Safelite. Anyways, this thing has some inherent problems. So most of the parts are the same as you would see on a 2-inch wide belt grinder, like this piece right here. And you'll notice it's offset. Well, it's offset because this bracket flexes too much. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you can tell right here. Let's see if... Not sure if that shows up on video. But anyways, this thing flexes left and right really bad because this bracket just has a 90 in it with some reinforcement ribs. And because of it, the belt tracking is all over the place. And then the motor has a cheesy startup. It's got one of the little solid state switching units in it instead of a real cap. So when you turn it on, it starts, but it takes a while. You notice it shakes a bunch. Well, so the belt the belt tracking's all over the place because this thing has so much flex. As a matter of fact, let me pull this belt off. I do like how the belt comes off. That's super handy. But so if you look at this, just that little bar is what this is all on. I don't know if you can tell, but it moves back and forth a bunch. So what I am probably going to do is I'm going to build a plate that fits on this side of the motor also, attaches the same way that this one does. And I'll just space this out so it stays centered with a washer or a spacer the same thickness of whatever material I use. I'm going to bring it forward, and then I'm going to run a plate all the way across here. That will help keep this from flexing back and forth. And I don't know if this is showing up on video. Like, maybe that shows well. But so the idea is this needs to stay in the exact same spot and stay stiff so the belt tracking is reliable. The other thing I'm going to do is this piece adjusts right here for to twist the end for belt tracking, and so in order to make that rigid, I am going to put probably a little tab with a heim joint right here, and then triangulate it over to this side. And that'll keep the thing, you know, with no real side-to-side movement. Because, oh, here, that probably shows it. Look how much flex there is there. And then the other annoying thing is there is no table on the end here, which I feel like would be super handy. The old Olympia square wheel I used to use at the shop I worked at had a table. And I mean, you have to be careful with it because anything with a table, it can chuck at you, but, or I'm gonna have to bleep that out. But yeah, needs a table. So right now, this thing, wow, look at how much that flexes. I don't know if you can see that, but it needs some reinforcement for the up-down also. And I'm not sure how much it'll help when the plate is here, but I might be able to add another heim joint coming down or something. I mean, this still needs to be able to go back and forth. This, I don't know if you can see right there, it twisted a little bit. But everything else, like the wheels are decent. I kind of wish this was a one whole wheel instead of two separate ones. Right now what it likes to do is it likes to run on this wheel, and then this one just sits in there. And I don't know if my unit's bent or something, but it sure doesn't work very great. And overall, for I don't know what it would cost them to make these modifications, probably another $100, you'd end up with a way better unit. So look for a video on that coming up. I might just do it by hand instead of waiting for my CNC machine, since I have no idea if I'm even ever going to get that thing. All right, so quick update. I am super impressed with this company, Multi-Tool. I just called them asking if they've had issues with these things being too flexible or belt tracking issues. And they said they have a new updated part that's gusseted and they would happily send one to me. And as a matter of fact, they're shipping it out today, and it's like 3 o'clock right now, which anyways, so far the company has been amazing. Anytime I've had a problem, they answer the phone, they call me right back. I wish every company was like that. So I'm going to wait a few days for this bracket and give it a go before I start hacking and modifying this thing. What's going on, everyone? I just received a new part from Multi-Tool Grinders to fix the flexing issue on this. Before I decided to, well, before I started making new parts, I called them and I voiced my concerns about the flex and the belt tracking. And that has got to be one of the best companies I have ever dealt with as far as customer service. They told me that they had actually come up with another part and they were aware of the problem. They had some bad brackets and I must have gotten one. And they sent me a new one. No questions asked. I got it super fast. I think they got it out the same day I called them, and I called them at like 3 p.m. And this is still during the COVID thing. So, I mean, they've got to be taxed anyways. I'm gonna change this part real quick and we're gonna see how well it fixes the problem. By the way, anyone who doesn't know, the quickest way to change the belt on one of these is you pull the bottom belt and there's a little cam right here that will just almost automatically pop into place, and then you can just pull the belt off. Super easy. And then we're gonna have to take his drum off, pull that out, just a sanding disc with some sticky tape on the back, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phillips head screws, number 2 screws. You know what? Let's zoom in a little bit. You can see a little better. Now I'm going to pull this off while the stand is holding everything for me.
I must have those loose for some reason.
Actually, if we pull the drum off, I have more room, so let's do that next. Apparently 23 millimeter. So it looks like it had 2 washers behind it, 1 washer in front of it, and then a regular nut with a 23mm head. Now that this is off, I'm going to remove these 2 screws to remove this assembly. That's 1 drop. This is the bracket that we're going to change. I'm going to pull these 3 bolts out. If I remember correctly, they are 10mm. Someone smarter than me would have had tools ready. You can see these 2 brackets. I hold them similar. There we go. These 2 brackets are almost the same, except the new one has got these gussets, which actually should make quite a bit of difference. So we're going to put this new part on with the same 3 bolts we just pulled. Don't worry, we'll fix the rotation of it once we get this centerpiece tied down. Alright, this is a 7/16 gear wrench. I've gotten to tighten the nuts on the back side to lock this in place. However, I want to put it downhill just a hair to make it a little more natural when I'm holding stuff to the belt grinder. I don't want to have to hold heavy parts up too high, because if you're doing a lot of grinding, you will get tired. And this can be adjusted at any time, so if I don't like where it's at, it can be readjusted. It looks like this side is ground, so they may have machined it so it's perfectly square too. I like that. I guess they would have to, because when welding this it could pull a little bit. Alright, so now we are going to put the extension back on here before we put the drum on. Now this part is adjustable. I'm going to lock it down with these 2 faces flush to start with, as I'm not sure where the adjustment is going to need to be. Matter of fact, you can move it in and out too. That's great. There's a lot of adjustment there. You know what, I'm going to leave that just hand tight because it will need to be adjusted, because I'm not even sure where it needs to go left and right. Two washers, drum, oh wow. So that is actually touching the gusset now, but no big deal. We'll take this washer from the top and put it in right there. See if it clears. Wow, still no go. Let's see what I can find for some spacers or washers for this. They did not send any. Instead of washers, I just went, well, these are still technically washers. I don't know if it'll, gonna focus. There we go. These are weld washers. I think I got these from Rough Stuff. They are machined flat on both sides, so I'm going to use these behind it. Oop, grabbed the wrong size. This one's the right ID, this one's larger. Hold on a sec. Look at that, that's a beaut. Alright, so now we have nice spacing away from there, and the question is, before I put it together, make sure there's enough adjustability here. Yeah, it still moves out plenty far, so we're good. So I'm just going to put one washer here on the outside and zip this down. Oh man, that's way better for run out too. Those washers weren't perfectly flat. Go ahead and lock these down until I can fire it up and we can see how she works. Now I don't have to put this cover plate on or the sanding disc to fire it up, so I'm not going to. No reason I should have to take it back off, but I want to see how this does first. Tension back on it. I can already tell that is way better. Let's see what it does when it fires up, and we'll see where the adjustment needs to go. I, of course, only work on it with it unplugged for safety in case the button. Look at that, no more vibration. I'd like to move the belt over away from the side a little bit, but it's actually not bad at all. I just want to move it a hair over. So it actually got a little closer to this side, so I went the wrong way with the adjustment. I have a bad habit of messing with stuff and going right past perfection. All right, I am super happy with that now. This thing functions like it should. I still, in the future, might make a table for the front of this. I feel like having a table at the end will be great. This probably won't support it, so it's going to need something that comes off most likely the base. But other than that, this is a great tool. This is the cheapest belt grinder, a 4-inch wide belt grinder on the market that I know of. It's about $600. I'll have a link to it below the video. But yeah, I would not hesitate to buy this again, even though I had a few issues, just because Multi-Tool is such a great company. And this is not paid. They simply treated me like any other person. I didn't even mention that I planned on making a video of this. So I would expect you would get the same treatment. Until next time, this is Philo with Philo's Garage. If you would, hit the like button and subscribe so you can watch more videos like this if you enjoyed this one. Till next time.